If you are a mom and you are feeling constantly run down, exhausted, running on empty, it's really important to know that you are not alone. Everyone is feeling that way, even if social media doesn't make it look to be true. But being a mom is one of the most rewarding, humbling experiences that there is. That does not mean it doesn't have its challenges and that moms don't end up in this vicious cycle of being exhausted, stressed out, tired, constantly. And so, what if I told you there's a way to kind of hack your health and navigate this incredible journey of motherhood with feeling good, with being healthy, with having that vitality to keep up with your kids? So our office is a very large pediatric office and prenatal office, and so we see a large amount of children in our office, which means we meet lots of moms. And unfortunately, so many of the moms have the same story. They wake up exhausted, can barely kind of keep it going throughout the day. Then kids come home from school, someone's grumpy, you didn't get as much done at home with the baby that you wanted to get done, feeling like you're always just running on empty, and there's just so many moving pieces and parts, and you just really feel like you can't keep it all together. And so a lot of these moms that we see in our office will end up dealing with some chronic fatigue symptoms going on, or chronic adrenal symptoms, cortisol issues, where their bodies just are producing so much of that fight or flight hormone, so much stress hormone, that it becomes almost permanent, and then the body will eventually shut down. So we see a lot of moms who start out being exhausted and stressed and wired become consistently tired and just not able to get themselves back working functionally again. So this video is just kind of about why that's happening and what we can kind of do to help with our health overall. So one of the reasons that moms get really stressed and get exhausted, and this whole cycle starts, is because of our adrenals. So your adrenals are located on top of your kidneys. Now your adrenals are supposed to release cortisol when your body is in a fight or flight situation. As moms, because we're already tired, we're running on no sleep, we feel like sometimes we're doing things alone. We don't have as much help. The whole it takes a village thing is great, but the way the world is set up is not made for moms to have a village anymore, or to even have time to recover from pregnancy and birth. And so we basically start to consider everything to be a fight or flight issue. So where it should be a life or death running from a bear type of scenario, our body starts releasing cortisol anytime it is stressed, because it can't tell the difference if you're running from a bear or if you're stuck in the school drop-off line. To your body and brain, those are both equally scary things. And so as a mom, you start releasing cortisol anytime your baby screams in the middle of the night, anytime that you wake up and someone's running late and you haven't had lunches packed and the gas light comes on in your car and you're running on empty. All of those things will release that cortisol. You get an email from your boss, or something stressful at work happens, a bill in the mail, and your body releases this cortisol over and over and over. And then our body starts adapting to that rather than recovering from it. And so our adrenals just become fatigued. That constant release of cortisol really causes long-term effects. And this is one of the possibilities of why so many women have autoimmune conditions. The main hypothesis is that it's because our adrenals are just consistently burdened and releasing cortisol so much that we are going to end up with an autoimmune condition because our body is just fighting itself. So our body basically gets stuck in that sympathetic overdrive. So we are living in fight or flight. We have cortisol pumping out all of the time. And one of the main things that's going to exacerbate this is going to be lack of sleep. So as a mom, it's like, haha, if you mentioned trying to get 7 or 8 hours, because that's crazy. Especially like not broken. Maybe you could get 7 hours if it was throughout the day with naps, but getting 7 or 8 hours of sleep straight in a night is a dream. That's just not realistic for most moms. And so trying to aim for that is a really big thing. What I tell moms though is if you can get some sleep before 11 p.m., that is so important. So with both my babies brand new, the best tip I heard was to go to sleep from 8 to 10 p.m. because that sleep is going to basically count as double for your brain and your body to recover. So if you can sleep from 8 to 10 p.m. and then kind of get up for the last feed, do what you got to do around 10 when baby wakes up again or needs to go to sleep at that time, you have already gotten some really good quality sleep. What happens is around 11 p.m., our body is going to start releasing cortisol for the next morning. So what we should have happen is we wake up with the highest amount of cortisol in our body, and as the day goes on, that cortisol drops in a nice smooth roller coaster drop. But what happens is some of us don't get quality sleep. We go to bed too late. We have a really hard time falling asleep because our body's already releasing that cortisol. And then instead of it dropping and first thing in the morning, it kind of stays elevated till 11 a.m. and then drops. Or some people, it's going to just never rise because our bodies are just so burdened with all of the cortisol we're releasing. It just shuts down and it stops releasing any cortisol. And so when we can get some good quality sleep, it's really important to get that sleep before 11 p.m. or midnight. That sleep is going to be much more beneficial to your brain than sleep post midnight. So I would rather moms sleep 8 to 10 and then have to wake up than sleep midnight to 8. That it's just not as beneficial. The way our circadian rhythm works, the way our body and our brain works, it's not as helpful for us. Another thing is trying to just make sure that bedtime is really routined. Having good sleep habits and habits in general is really important, but the more you can make something a habit, the more our bodies can kind of utilize that for our health. And so if sleeping is one of the things that you can make a habit, that's amazing. I hear a lot of moms want to get their body back, start working out right away. And that's bad for a couple of reasons. There's some hormones called leptin and ghrelin, and those are going to not release as they should if you're working out when you're not getting sleep. So if you are prioritizing exercising over getting good quality sleep, your body is actually going to hold on to that weight, and it's going to release hormones that tell your body to never be full. And so if you are prioritizing the gym or even like going for walks instead of sleeping when you're early postpartum, you're going to be doing more harm to yourself than good. So trying to make really healthy habits of having a bedtime, having good sleep habits, doing the things that your body needs to do to relax is going to help you long term so much, and then eventually help you lose weight anyway. So basically trying to keep our bodies in a really healthy state also means food. So especially talking about losing that baby body, a lot of people don't eat as healthy as they could because they want to restrict calories, they want to eat less fat, but really if you're breastfeeding especially, you need so many calories and so much fat into your body, and that's one way to replenish what you lost postpartum. When we are building a baby, our body is literally building a whole human, right? Like how crazy. We are building that baby from our body. I'm tired. From our body. So our body is giving up everything it has for them. If they need calcium, comes out of our teeth. If they need some other mineral or vitamin, it's coming from our body and what we're eating and what we have stored. And so baby takes about 10% of your nutrition and 4 pounds of minerals to become who they are. So when that all, makes a baby and then we lose all of that, we have to replenish ourselves. We have to get that nutrient-dense food back in. We have to get all of those fat stores back, because that's what helps us do all of the things in our body. Every little cycle that you learned about in high school biology, the urea cycle, the Krebs cycle, you need so many building blocks for that you might have lost. And so a lot of moms stop taking their prenatals postpartum, which I always suggest continuing prenatals or really healthy vitamins, organ supplements, if that's what you're taking postpartum, as long as you're breastfeeding. It's a really important thing. Also just eating really nutrient-dense meals. Another thing is just making sure you're pairing your foods well. So you don't want to just eat an apple. You really want to try to pair carbs with fats or with protein and with fiber. So you're not eating one food group by itself. An apple by itself is fine, but it's not going to satiate you like an apple with cheese. That's going to be a way different type of meal or snack and much healthier for your body. So always trying to have super nutrient-dense foods, really trying to also have a lot of protein. Your body really runs on protein, and eating that protein, trying to prioritize that at every meal is also going to really help get those nutrients back for you, as long as it's a good healthy protein source. So other things are just really trying to find things that bring you joy. A lot of times moms lose their hobbies because they have children. And so if you ask a mom, like, what's your hobby? And they say, like, oh, I love getting my nails and hair done. That's not a hobby. That's something that you enjoy doing, but it's not a creative outlet. So trying to find something that you love to do again, whether that's reading books, whether that's knitting or crocheting or scrapbooking, things that you do for you, but not that you're paying someone else to do. So trying to really find things that bring you joy in life. You can still get your nails and hair done, but having an outlet for you is also really important. That's just what studies show for our serotonin and dopamine releases. Another big thing is asking for help and delegating. So if you have a village, amazing. take advantage of that village. If your husband is super helpful, put him to work. A lot of moms will think like, well, I don't do it like I do it. I read a great book called Fair Play, and that was really eye-opening in terms of letting go of some of those expectations, but also kind of divvying up responsibilities 100% to a person. So if dad's responsibility is laundry, then that's 100% his job, and I no longer can care how the towels are folded. Things will get done. But it's eye-opening to see that there's other ways of doing it besides what you were doing, because now that you've added a baby or added an extra child or just have your hands full, there is room to kind of improve the systems within your household and your relationship that could maybe better work for you. And so delegating is a huge thing. Last but not least, and actually probably the most important thing, is trying to regulate your nervous system. So what is controlling everything else in our body that's happening is your nervous system. The nervous system is basically the umbrella for everything inside of you, whether it's your immune system or your respiratory system, your digestive system, your endocrine system. All of those things are controlled by your nervous system. So if your nervous system is constantly thinking you're in fight or flight and you're in danger, your body is never going to prioritize things like resting and digesting and healing and growing. It cannot. It's going to prioritize running from that bear, making sure your muscles are full, ready to run, ready to fight. And so that's not a great way to raise children. If you feel like you're snapping at all points in time because your kids did something and your first response is to just be angry and snap at them, your body is stuck in that fight or flight, and that's not doing anyone any good when you're trying to raise healthy, thriving children and also be healthy yourself. So trying to regulate that nervous system is a huge thing. Chiropractic care is one of the best ways to regulate your nervous system. There's some other things you can do too, but a neurological based chiropractor, their responsibility is your nervous system and getting everything to be balanced and working optimally. And so that's something that definitely is missing for a lot of moms. The saying you can't pour from an empty cup is so true, and until you're really learning what that means, it seems selfish to some moms. They think, well, I'd rather my kids have care, I'd rather they be in dance class, or like we don't have time to prioritize me. But if you are not feeling your best and you feel exhausted and you feel like crap, it really does change how you're parenting, how you're able to love others, how you're raising your kids. And so there is so much truth behind making sure that you're at your best to teach your kids how to be at their best. So if this at all sounds like anything that you are struggling or dealing with, again, motherhood is just something that we are kind of all on this ride together. And so we love being a part of someone's village and being able to help them and being able to figure out, ways to get them back to feeling like the person they used to be before babies, which is, for a lot of us, we feel like it's a lost, distant person, but you can feel like yourself again, and you can feel like motherhood can be fun, and you can enjoy your kids more if you feel better. So if you want to feel that way, you can call our office at Pinnacle Chiropractic. We have those nervous system based scans that we do to see where your health is at, where your nervous system is at, where your HRV is at, and that can really start a really great lifestyle change as well. So I hope this video is helpful to someone, and call us if you need us. We have a really great Mother's Day something up our sleeve as well.